Welcome to Sky Women. I'm your host, Dr. Carolyn Moyers, a wife, mom, and board-certified OBGYN. This is a place to educate, empower, and inspire. Join us each week as we share the power of women's stories. Real women, real stories, real inspiration. Put on your stretchy pants. Let's get going. Welcome, Sky community, to another episode of Sky Women. Today, we have with us Dr. Andrea Wadley, who is a direct primary pediatrician in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and the founder and owner of 127 Pediatrics. Welcome, Andrea.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
Absolutely. So why don't you introduce what we're talking about today?
So I am a direct primary care pediatrician here in Dallas-Fort Worth, but also I do breastfeeding consults as a breastfeeding medicine specialist. And I am working on releasing a breastfeeding beginnings class that's an online course here at the end of the month, January 2023.
So, Andrea, I want us to really clarify for the listeners what it means there are a lot of variations in people who might help you with breastfeeding. So what does it mean to be a breastfeeding medicine specialist? Let's talk about what the IBCLC means.
Absolutely. So I am a pediatrician by training. So I obviously went to medical school, residency, all that. So I have a background in medicine. And then in addition, I did my IBCLC, which is a certification. It's an international certification for lactation, which also has, several requirements. So you have to do a certain amount of hours, you have to do a certain amount of class work, and then sit for an exam. So I did all of those things. So the combination of IBCLC, which, any healthcare provider can accomplish, even people outside of, the healthcare space, if they're really interested in lactation, can accomplish an IBCLC. But the combination of those two things together makes me a breastfeeding medicine specialist, which, what does that mean? So a regular IBCLC who is an RN or a nurse by training can do certain things for a breastfeeding mom, help her with latch, help her do certain things, that she's having trouble with. But I can go beyond that because I'm a physician. So I can go through like a differential diagnosis for low milk supply. I can prescribe meds for mastitis. So I can see you, assess you, give you the antibiotics for mastitis. I can also do things like induce lactation. So if you're looking to adopt a baby, if you're in a same-sex couple and you're having a baby, I can help, the partner to induce lactation. Those sorts of things require doctor-level ability to diagnose and treat and do medication. So that is what I'm focused on, is helping moms with a little more complex problems. I can do obviously the basic stuff, but kind of beyond that is what my training is in.
Right. And they can hear about breastfeeding medicine in more detail on episode 60. I was actually just looking it up while you were talking. So it was a year ago that you were on the podcast talking all about the details of breastfeeding medicine. And now you're launching a course. So talk to us a little bit about the course. Like, who is it best suited for? What are you aiming to help patients with?
Yeah, absolutely. So I wrote a class that was from the perspective of someone who's never breastfed before. So really my target audience for this beginning class is moms who are first-time moms who have a desire to breastfeed, or also moms who in their minds maybe failed or didn't meet their goals for the first time around and want, a little bit more of a foundation of knowledge for their second time around. And thirdly, moms who just need a refresher. So maybe it's been a while since you breastfed and you don't remember the mechanics of it all. So I set up the class to be, a general overview of breastfeeding for the first 12 months. I go through the very, specific details that need to happen in the first 2 weeks of life. So we go through, the details of the 24 hours, the 48 hours, kind of go slower through those critical weeks, and then kind of launch into an overview of the following months of breastfeeding to just kind of give you a roadmap of what you're looking at committing to with breastfeeding.
Perfect. So anybody can purchase this course across the globe, and it's done self-paced, Or are they signing up for a cohort?
Absolutely. It's done self-pace. It's a one-time fee for a fairly short class. It's a couple hours worth of videos. So people who are crunched for time or whatever, it won't take you very long to go through it. And then you'll have access to it for a few months so that you can go back and review. So ideally you would take it, in your last trimester right before your baby is born, and then maybe take it again as a refresher, in the first few weeks, or watch particular videos if you're having difficulty with a certain thing.
Nice. So what do you feel like are the top 3 concerns or complaints, the trouble that individuals are having with breastfeeding?
So mostly number one reason why they come to me is pain. So nipple pain is a huge thing. So, maybe the latch wasn't good a lot of times when you fed, or maybe it was just one time and you're in pain now. And then, so sort of troubleshooting that pain. Another reason, and a big reason why I'm writing this class, is because, low milk supply, my baby's not getting enough milk. My pediatrician's worried about the baby's weight gain, that kind of stuff. And a lot of that is time sensitive. So in the very beginning of breastfeeding, there's all these things that you need to do in order to set yourself up for success. So that was the reason for the class. And, that is something I see women for in the community, breastfeeding. So, at 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month into breastfeeding, there's definitely stuff that we can do to help you, but it's a little more difficult. So those are the top 2 things. And then really third is just confidence. So, it's kind of a category, I guess, but really there's a lot of things that fall into that. Is my milk enough? Is my baby getting enough? How do I know if they're getting enough?
Right.
Are they growing on the curve? What does the curve look like? So a lot of those things, honestly, I do a lot of reassurance type visits. So mom's just checking in and making sure things are what they're supposed to be for breastfeeding.
Yeah, I think that's really important because we know 80% of mothers will actually initiate breastfeeding in the US, but that a large majority don't continue, right? Because of either pain or low milk supply. Those are probably the most common causes for weaning. So it's really critical to have good support. And also, addressing, like you said, mastitis or infant weight gain. Do we have our correct latch? So it's really awesome for you to be offering this support. Yes. So how can they find your class?
Yeah, so I have an online breastfeeding medicine center at breastfeeding.127pediatrics.com, or you can find me through my regular website at 127pediatrics.com. It'll send you to, my availability for breastfeeding consults, as well as head you over to the online center for the classes. And then you can find me on Facebook, 127pediatrics.com, or on Instagram at 127pediatrics, all spelled out, .com. And we will be doing Instagram lives on Fridays in January, February, and March, and bringing in different people that have to do with breastfeeding support in the community. So Dr. Moyers is going to be our guest here in a few days. So. Yes. Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for this service. I think it'll be a great help to so many. Thank you.
All right, Sky community, thank you for listening to another episode. This episode was sponsored by Sky Women's Health. As a reminder, we're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and we help relieve back pain and pelvic pain in pregnancy and beyond. If you are pregnant and having pain and you feel like you have no reliable way to relieve it, look us up at skywomenshealth.com, request an appointment, and we'll call to get you scheduled. As a board-certified OBGYN with a Neuromusculoskeletal Medicine Fellowship, I help you realign with hands-on drug-free treatment and relieve pain on the spot without medication. We'll help you maintain these results through your pregnancy and postpartum period. Every pregnant person deserves this, and we are so excited to serve you. You can find us on our website, as mentioned, or on social at Sky Women's Health, or you can call the office at 817-915-9803. That's it for today. Until next week, be well.